What's up, guys? Welcome back to the offseason of season number 3. We do finish off the year 9-4, which is an improvement over last year, our best season of the series so far. We are entering now our last season of the contract. I'm not sure what I'm going to do quite yet. I know I've said that before, but I think I'm actually going to play this final season, then leave for another team, just because I should have never chose offensive coordinator, but I made that mistake, and I think I'm just going to change because I don't think I can somehow become head coach of Rutgers. It's just not very possible with how the game works. But here's some of the changes around the league if you want to look for that yourself. These are all the head coaching changes. And I think we also look at the just the Big Ten here quickly, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, like Kyle Flood just got signed to a 7-year deal, so like I don't think that it's at all possible for us to become the head coach, and I'm not sure if I can even force that anyway in the game, so I think I'm just going to leave for a different school. But Maryland has a new head coach. He was actually fired. And then here's just some of the other coordinator positions to look out for in the Big Ten. I think we might, we don't have any changes this year. Now for players leaving, we only have a handful of players, as Hayden Reddick is graduating. He's somehow projected in the 2nd round, even though he didn't have the greatest year. Agudosi is projected in the 6th round, and they both end up going there. Now looking at some of the Big Ten teams, Indiana, Iowa, they have no one. Maryland has no one. Michigan, only 3 people, and not even one above the 6th round. Michigan State has a 5th round player and a 7th round player. Minnesota with no one. Nebraska has their kicker going in the 7th round. Northwestern has Justin Jackson. We definitely know him. And Ohio State has a bunch of players leaving. Their team is taking a huge hit. They have 4 first-rounders leaving, 2 second-rounders, 2 third-rounders. Let's see, how many 3, 4? Yeah, just their entire team is pretty much leaving. So this is our chance next year to beat them. And Penn State has 3 players leaving. No one I really recognize. Purdue has 2 players. The top 4 rounds of Wisconsin in the 7th round. So besides Ohio State, really no one had that good of classes. I did quickly go through it, but that was the transfers. We didn't get any transfers. We did have the 5th best recruiting class with 11 4-star recruits. Our team is going to be so well-rounded in a few years when those players develop. So looking at the players we got, top player on the list right now is Eric Taylor. He's a quarterback. He's going to be redshirted, and we'll see him in a few years, but he's the number 2 scrambling quarterback. I didn't actually realize that. That's pretty good. So that was a big sign there. We didn't get some of these other guys, but we got Michael Wheeler, another quarterback. He'll probably not be redshirted and just stay as a backup quarterback. Kind of the only reason I got him. Coming down here, Daniel Lyles, a number 6 free safety from Madison, New Jersey, 77 overall. Jake Moore. Zeph Little is a player I'm also really excited about, 80 overall outside linebacker. We got Julian Efford, another top linebacker. Some other players here, kicker. Morris Thomas is 77 overall wide receiver. Some athletes. And some offensive linemen that'll just be in the works. So we did have the number 5 recruiting class, like I said before, and it's just because we got all of these 4-star guys, which is really going to improve our team. We got a few 3-stars and then a few just 2-star players. And then this is USC's. They had the top class. They had 4 5-stars, 11 players above 4-star, and 20 players overall. So that's what we need to be if we want to be the number 1 team. And now I'm switching around some linemen because I do have a lot of linemen. And I do like to make sure that all of my best linemen are playing, and moving some seniors. Now moving some athletes. We have Terrence Smith, a 75 overall athlete. He was only really good at defensive back, so I set him to cornerback. And then Jordan Walker, he was good all around, so I decided to put him at halfback since we didn't end up getting one to give us 4 halfbacks on roster. Henderson, looking to be our top quarterback by a long shot. Nick Lawson and Mike Woods, I'm very excited about. Snorway is the number 2 guy, but just hasn't really proved himself on the field. And then Jansen here is kind of struggling behind the other players. We have Anthony Folkerts heading into his final season. Now we have Dustin Neal, who had a great freshman season. He is our #1 receiver in terms of talent. And then just, of course, Brandon Louis is there, but he hasn't shown that he has good enough hands just quite yet. And then Terrell Harmon's number 3, but he's probably going to be our number 1, at least in terms of formations goes. But Harmon and Neal are the 2 players to look out there. Nakia Griffin, he showed himself this year when he had to fill in for Flanagan, and he will be our number 1 next year. We have Rich Walski, Tariq Cole, Jaquise Webb at center, Zach Heeman at right guard, and Marcus Applefield will be at right tackle. And those are all going to be the starters. There's no reason to mess with any of that. Jimmy Hogan had a pretty good season last year. He'll be coming back. We also have Newell here, our freshman, who might end up being in the starting rotation. Of course, we have Hale, Morris, and some of these guys haven't really showed up yet, but Deontay Roberts played pretty good for last year, even though his overall isn't that high. Then we're going to have a bunch of corners. I think we have 3 corners that are seniors this year, so we really need to focus placing that. But a nice bump up the best defensive unit, defensive back unit. We only lost like 3 seniors on the defensive side, so our defense should be really good this year. And we did sign a kicker, even though Andy Larson did get player of the game in the bowl game. So that's interesting. But Terrell Harmon is the fastest guy on the team. Strongest is Brandon Vogel, and someone else, I missed it, but Eric Henderson actually has the highest agility. Mark Smackline has 99 acceleration, which Kowalski has 98 acceleration. That's just crazy for a lineman. I'm just looking at some of these other ratings. I don't really know what I'm doing here. But Doug Edwards least likely to fumble, and Dustin Neal has the best hands on the team. And Eric Henderson is looking to be our best quarterback by a mile. Cody Mason can actually play some quarterback. That's interesting. So probably could have had him at number 3, but and just looking for some other interesting stats to look at. Isaiah Wharton and James Oliver are our best coverage guys. Deontay Roberts can actually press really well. And Rich Walski, even though I think he's a sophomore in this, maybe heading into a junior, I don't know. But one of our best pass blockers, our best run blockers, Tariq Cole. Pretty much all 5 of our starting guys are all up here, so nothing like is going to change really. Tariq Cole is our best impact blocker as well. Thomas Williams has up to 99 kick power, and Andy Larson has 85, but not the greatest accuracy, which is kind of why we signed the other guy. But again, Andy Larson kind of showed up at the end of the season here. And Michael Mathis is the least likely to get injured, I guess. And now we have to cut some players. Jason Cleveland just did not work out as receiver. Cut that right end. Kyle Walker was a walk-on last year. We're going to cut Clark at safety. We're going to cut John Coleman. He's a 4-star guy, but he's just the worst lineman that we have on the team, so he had to be the one cut. Eric Ward at linebacker probably wasn't going to play, and Jeremy Jansen could get cut in the presence of Walker. We're going to cut Eric Smith. And as far as Big Ten, we're turning off predicted rivals, which will give us a 4th game of the year. That's a non-conference. I thought it was going to give us an extra one besides Northwestern, but it didn't do that. Would move UAB to the Sun Belt because their schedule was just really weird. And now we're going to redshirt some players. So Eric Taylor, there's no reason. I'm pretty confident what Henderson can do from what I've seen from him. Jordan Walker is not going to play. I'm really excited for him in the future. Receiver, I think Thomas and Holmes both get this one, as there's no real room at them for receiver right now, because we don't have any seniors or anything. So we didn't need to prepare for the future, as Holmes definitely needs his catching up. And Morris Thomas could definitely just use the extra year of eligibility. And I don't really do anything else here. Jonathan Canary, I think I was going to move him to fullback next year, but he just stays at tight end for this year. Keith Smith, no reason to have any of our linemen that are backups playing, because these guys just don't get injured at all. So Moore, I think I leave. one of these linemen, I think I don't redshirt. I think, yeah, I redshirted them both there, but I think I take one off because I do need an extra backup lineman. Zeph Little, I do not end up redshirting, as I'm going to keep him as the backup for now at all 3 linebacker positions because he's just really good at all 3 of them. So Alfred is the player that I think needs a little bit more development before he can really shine. So get the extra year out of him. But Zeph Little will be playing and might even start at some places at some games of the year. I think I'm just like contemplating it right now, but it is what I end up going with. Travis Smith, all the way down here, he's not going to play, so he gets the red shirt, and I pretty much redshirt like everyone. Lyles isn't going to play. So we do have some safeties here. I just go for Atkins. I know that these players can sometimes leave, but I mean, Andy Larson is pretty good, so I just tried it out. So we don't end up redshirting Wheeler, who's going to be our 3rd string quarterback, Little, and then our defensive end, we don't redshirt. And I was thinking of looking at some sophomores. We actually don't have a lot of sophomores to redshirt, so just our 2 receivers who have played for us, so there's no reason to doing that. And we come into juniors, and these guys, none of these guys either, so just kind of looking at all the class years of all the players. And yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode will be a training episode where I introduce you to all the new offensive players and some of the new defensive players. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next episode. Goodbye.